Hi everybody, it's Claudia from Create with Claudia. Thank you so much for stopping by. Stick around because today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute and really fun tropical beverage mug rug. So here it is. Here's my fun mug rug we're going to make. It's pretty easy. There are a lot of little steps to it and a lot of little pieces. So I have everything in my blog as well to help you out. But I want to show you the inspiration for this. These are all Island Batik fabrics, and the yellow and the blue ones in particular are brand new fabrics from Island Batik. It's from a new line called Cheers, designed by Carl and Linda Sullivan of Colorworks. I am an Island Batik ambassador, and twice a year we're given stacks of fabric, and each month we're supposed to do a project with them. We have an industry partner. This is By Annie Bags, Patterns by Annie Bags, and this month, October, our challenge was to make a Patterns by Annie bag. So I chose the Open Wide 2.0 bag. Really happy to do that. I really wanted to do something. I needed some new cosmetic bags. They're so big. I actually made it in two different sizes. Let me just show you. Here's this medium size and here's the big size. Really nice and big. I really can't say enough good things about these patterns. Last year I made a backpack, which I still use. Again, this time I wanted to do something. I'm running my older cosmetic bags are getting pretty old and ratty, so I thought it'd be fun to make these, and this was the perfect opportunity. Again, I used the new fabric line called Cheers by Carl and Linda Sullivan of Colorworks. Plus, the interior you'll see is an orange, which is from Island Batik's, from Blenders. I'm going to show you the inside as well. These are nice bags. We got all of the hardware, great stabilizer inside, and look how nicely they stand. I'm going to show you this, actually both of them. The way the patterns are written, they're really nice and so helpful. They have little check boxes, which I love because I love to stay organized. At least I try to stay organized. I was a little nervous about zippers. I don't do zippers very often, but it's really easy to put in. I'm just going to show you how big and roomy this bag is. I mean, it's really big, and hopefully you can see it. There's mesh on both sides, and this one is divided. So that's the big one. And you even have a little accent, and that's that gorgeous fabric. And then the smaller one, this is the medium size, also has dividers. Look at the room in this one. Perfect for vacation. In fact, I want to go somewhere tropical after I made these. But like I said, the zipper comes together nicely. There's nothing to be worried about. It even has this really cool little sort of flap here that you can tuck the zipper into, which I really like. And then it has this little loop here that you can just sort of pick it up like that. And that's, again, the medium, and this was the large size. So I did have fabric left over from both of these. I'm just going to pull this one shut. I love this. Like I said, I was telling my husband, when I was showing him these bags, I was taking pictures of them for the blog post. And I said, now I have an excuse. We need to go somewhere tropical. But I did have fabric left over, which I was really happy about because I always like to do a little sort of bonus project with my Island Batik projects for the month. And that's when I came up with this fun, sort of matches that tropical theme. It's a tropical mug rug. It's a tropical beverage of some sort, whatever you want to make it. And I used yellow for the liquid and then the blue for the background. And if you look up close on the blue, I'll show a picture on the screen. Maybe you can see it here. It has lots of tropical beverages on it too. So it's a really fun and flirty fabric. It's a lot of fun. But stick around. We're going to make this now, and I'll tell you how to do that. Alrighty, so here are the pieces that we're going to need to make our cute little beverage mug rug, our little tropical beverage mug rug to take you on vacation, even if you're not going somewhere. So the first thing you need are border strips. You're going to need 2 strips that are 1 inch by 5.5 inches, and 2 strips that are 1 inch by 6.5 inches. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. Later in the video, you might see different colored strips. I made a mistake when I was doing the measurements when I recorded the first intro to this video. and I had to change fabric because I didn't have any more of that other one. I like to use scraps in certain projects. But anyway, these are these Island Batiks. These are gorgeous, and these are for the strips. These are the correct measurements now, and hopefully I get them right this time. So I do apologize for that. And like I said, further down in the video, I'll have some corrections as well. So if you have eagle eyes, you'll notice that that pink is not the same in some of the parts of the video. For the background, you need the following, and I'm using these gorgeous fabrics left over from that that Cheers collection designed by Carl and Linda Sullivan of Colorworks for Island Batik, and these are also, actually all the fabrics I'm using are from Island Batik. So this is some blue, gorgeous blue, with, it even has, if you look closely, it has some little cups on it and glasses, some tropical beverages too. You need 4 squares cut 1.5 inches. You need 1 strip cut 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. You need 3 squares cut 2.5 inches square, so 3 of those. And lastly, of that background fabric, you're going to need 2 rectangles cut 3 inches by 2.25 inches, and you need 2 of those. For the glass, for the cup that you're making, you need, I chose gray fabric. I thought that'd be fun too. You need 1 piece cut 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And then you need 1 piece cut 3 inches by 1 inch. Yeah, there are a lot of small pieces in this one. And lastly, for the liquid or the beverage, and this is also from the Cheers collection. Isn't that fun? That bright yellow with the fuchsia. I love that. I thought that'd be perfect. It has lemon shapes on it, so it's kind of perfect for a tropical beverage. You need 1 piece cut 4 inches. Excuse me. 1 piece cut 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So 1 piece 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And last but not least, I don't know if I said that a minute ago, I almost forgot, the straw, the little orange straw. You need a piece cut 4 inches by 3.25 inches. So those are the pieces you need to make this little mug rug. You're going to need backing and batting as well, and binding, but I'll let you choose those yourself. I'm just going to show you how to make the top today. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to make the flying geese units that are going to make up the beverage part of it and then the base of your glass. So for that, you're going to need these rectangles, the one of for the beverages and the one for the glass. You're going to need those. And then you're going to need 2 of the squares that are 1.5 inches square of the background fabric, and those are going to go with that. And then 2 of the squares that are 2.5 inches that go with the beverage fabric, with the liquid fabric. I'm just going to call it your beverage fabric. On the backs of both of these, you're going to draw a diagonal line. So let me get out a marker and my ruler. All right, so let's see what we have here. You're going to try, a lot of times on batiks, it doesn't really matter which side is the back side. Sometimes you can tell. So we're just going to draw a diagonal line. Now I'm going to make this darker than I normally would. I do have marking tools, but for the camera, it's harder to see sometimes. So hopefully you can see. Let me move that up to the camera. You just very easily draw a diagonal line from corner to corner, and you're going to do that on all of these squares, the 2 that are 1.5 inches and the 2 that are 2.5 inches. All right, so I have done that. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make like a flying geese unit. So you're going to put these right sides together. Let's make sure I have the right side. Yep. Right sides together, lining up on the square on one edge. Let me move those out of the way. You can see how it's lined up. And you're going to sew directly on that drawn line, the line that you just drew from corner to corner. You're going to sew directly on that. That's the first thing we do, and I can do that with both of these at the same time. It makes it easier. So you can see how I line this one up. Just like that, and we're going to do that first. All right, so you can see how I've sewn on that line. Hopefully you can see my stitch line. It's kind of hard sometimes. Maybe on the bigger one it's easier to see. And then you're going to flip that back. Well, you're not going to flip it back quite yet. You're going to cut away this excess right here. So you're going to get your ruler and your rotary cutter, and I'm just going to leave a 1/4 inch, sort of like I would just when I would be sewing 2 pieces together. I'm just going to trim that back like so. You can keep that, make some half square triangles out of it, and you're going to press that back. So I have pressed this back, and I did the same on the little gray one. And then you're going to add that other square with aligning it up on the opposite edge with that diagonal line pointing towards this point here. So you're going to have, it's going to look like an arrowhead almost. So now I'm going to sew along that drawn line on both this one and then the gray, the glass part of it. All right, so now it's going to look like this. Flip it back, but I'm going to trim away that excess too. Alrighty, so here's my beverage there, and then there's the bottom of the glass here. So those pieces are ready. Now I'm going to set the beverage one aside. We don't need that one right now. For this part here, we're going to add the other two 1.5 inch squares, one on each side. All right, here we go. We're rolling right along. So now we're going to set that side aside. That's going to be the bottom of the glass. The next thing we want to do is take that stem of the glass. Here it is. This was that piece that was 3 inches by 1 inches. And then we're going to take those two rectangles of the background fabric, and we're just going to add one to each side of that strip. Now, one thing I think I haven't mentioned the whole time, make sure to use your 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you want to be pretty accurate with this sewing because it's such small pieces. But that's what I'm going to do now, is add a background fabric on each side of this. Alrighty, so there is the stem of the glass. Nice and easy to do. Now we're going to put that aside too. I'm lining all these pieces up because now we're going to do that little straw. And this is a little tricky. So you need that last square that's 2.5 inches square of the background fabric. And then you need that straw fabric here. And the first thing you're going to do, and I need my ruler again, is you are going to cut this in half on the diagonal. Like so. That's the first thing you do. And on one side of it, on one long end, you're going to add this straw fabric. And then we're going to do a lot of trimming on this. This is a little tricky. This step is just a little, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to add the straw. You'll just have to reconfigure. In fact, maybe I'll figure that out. You could just reconfigure the measurement for that top part of the glass. You're just going to sew down that edge. All right, and I've pressed it open. I pressed towards the orange fabric. And then you're going to add that other half to this side. So it's going to look like this. You're going to try and make it even, but we're going to be trimming this down. You'll see what I do in a second. But first I want to add that and press it. All right, so here it is. It's all pressed out. I do want to show you when I added this piece, when I flipped it over, I added it to that other edge, and I just tried to center it. You don't have to do any measuring at this time when you did this, and just add that along with the 1/4 inch seam and you get that cute little straw. But now we need to trim this down. This needs to be 1.5 inches square. So what you're going to do is you're going to trim, and you need your square ruler for this. And you want, let me see if I can find a pointer or something. You want this side to be flush with the top of the glass. Let me just show you what it's going to kind of look like. It's going to look a little bit, it's going to end up looking a little bit like that. So you want to trim off this edge, and what I do, and again, it's a little weird, is I measure about 1/4 inch from that point there, okay? So that's where you want to measure, and then I'm just going to make my first trim straight across. And it should, see, I put my 1/4 inch marker right there. the glare, unfortunately, from the lights. Let me see if I can cover that with my hand a little bit so you don't see it. Right there, you want to measure a 1/4 inch from that point right there. And straight across, make sure that's not straight on the bottom. And then you're going to do your first cut like so. And that's going to get you started. And you're going to cut, remember this is 1.5 inch square, so you're going to put your 1.5 inch measurement here on the bottom of that line we just cut. Trim it up. See, you do a lot of excess, but that's okay. You want that. And then this side should be okay. So you're going to measure a 1.5 inch over from here. Let's see. Because you want it you want it about a 1/4 inch from this point here on this side here. So you want to measure that. And that's correct. So now you 1.5 inch line it up along here and along the bottom, so you make sure you have a nice straight square. All right, so now you have your straw. Now the next thing you're going to do is pull that straw back, and then here's that last piece of background fabric, and this one is 1.5 by 3.5 inches long, and you're just going to add this to the right side. Alrighty, so here is that piece all pressed, ready to go. So now you need to pull over that top, your drink glass, or the beverage part of it, and you're going to add this strip to the top of this. Alright, so here I've added the straw section on the top, and now we're ready to add the stem to the bottom. This is a little tricky. You don't just want to add them up. You don't want to just line them up edge to edge. I mean, you can, but I sort of want to get the glass kind of flush with this glass so that the joint, it looks like it's a smooth joint on the glass. That's just me. You don't have to do it this way. So what I'm going to do is draw a line on the front of this section, just where that point is, and that's going to tell me where to line up this piece of fabric. So you have your 1/4 inch along there, and I'm just going to draw. Normally I would use like a water soluble, but for this, hopefully you can see it. This blue is kind of hard to see marking on. It's a gorgeous blue, like a gorgeous ocean blue. And there you can see the line, hopefully, that I drew. And then you're going to, right sides facing, you're going to line up this edge along that line that you just drew. And you're going to sew a 1/4 inch down. So it's going to be a little uneven. You don't normally sew like this. See how there's that little 1/4 inch overhang? And you're going to do the 1/4 inch seam allowance from this edge, not this edge, and sew down. Alright, so here's my glass. We're coming along, my cute little mug rug. It is a little bit off there, no big deal. That's, I'm not that super picky about it, but if you want to be, you can. I don't know what happened there. The next thing is you're going to add the stem on the bottom, and you're going to do the same thing where you're going to draw that line a 1/4 inch from the bottom, right on that point. You're going to draw that line where that point is, and hopefully it's a 1/4 inch. Just line it up with the bottom. This is a little tricky. In fact, you might want to do it this way. That way more of the fabric stays nice and stable. And just draw that line. Right. All right, here's that line. I tried to make it a little dark for you. It's really hard to see. I don't know why it's so hard to see with that blue fabric right now. Anyway, there's a line that's about a 1/4 inch from the bottom up to that point. Just draw it across. And this time, this is how you're going to put this one together. And you're just going to flip this over right sides together and line this edge up with the drawn line that you just did. And then sew that 1/4 inch, and you're going to sew the 1/4 inch from this edge, not the outside edge. And the one thing I think I should have said, I forgot on the other one, you definitely want to pin here because you could fold it back even a little bit, like your 1/4 inch, just to see if that's going to match. It should be okay. And then that way you just know you're pretty centered. I'm not super picky about this, and it's very tricky to get it exact. But if I were you, I do put a pin in it here just so it doesn't slip and slide. Alrighty, so here it is. All I need to do now is add my little borders. It's my little mug rug, small little thing, coaster, whatever you want to call it. The first thing you're going to do is add on those side strips. Those of you with eagle eyes will notice that this fabric is different. And I will correct the video. It'll sort of interchange when I'm showing strips because I cut these wrong when I first gave you the measurements. So I need to go back and fix that first section. I promise it will be correct when you're watching this, but if you have an eagle eye, you'll notice this pink is not the same as the other one in the video a little bit earlier on. So you're going to add these side strips that are 1 inch by 6.5 inches. And of course I almost put the wrong one. You're going to add those first, the long sides, just one on each side. All right, so here it is, and then the last thing you're going to do is add on the top and bottom, and then you're going to quilt it however you want and bind it however you want. I'll probably quilt this pretty heavily since it's a mug rug. I want it to lay nice and flat, and I'll use some real thin batting. I'll probably use Hobbs fusible batting that I really like for my small projects. It's nice and thin and perfect for a project like this. Alrighty, so here is my really fun little, this is the top of my little mug rug, my tropical beverage ready to go. I'm ready to go to the beach or something like that. I will quilt this up. I don't know, I'm going to use some fun backing and then some fun binding with it, and you'll see it. I'll be back in a second when I show you the finished product. All right, I'm back. Here it is. Here's my mug rug, my tropical beverage mug rug. I actually ended up making 2 of them. One is a little with darker pink and the other one is with lighter pink. If you watched the whole video, you notice, or you might have had an eagle eye and noticed that some of the pinks were different. I messed up on my measurements, so I had to retape the beginning of it, so I apologize for that. But I got 2 mug rugs out of it, and I'm not sure who I'm going to give these to. The back was orange. I used that orange that I used in the lining in these awesome open wide bag patterns from By Annie. So I thank them for the pattern. I thank Island Batik for the fabric this month. I do have the tutorial for the pattern for this on my website, www.createwithclaudia.com. And there's also a little bit of information about these great bags, the pattern by Annie open wide. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. The open wide 2.0 bag. I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button. I always appreciate new subscribers, and I thank you so much for doing that. Next month, the Island Batik ambassadors are doing something for the holidays, which is always lots of fun, and I have something fun in mind for that. But this is October, Patterns by Annie, Island Batik, love it. And give yourself and your friend a little treat, a little tropical beverage mug rug with my fun and easy pattern. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.